Just in case you don't know, you should know by now that APSA has now come to stay, and we're also joining in that great transition as they take over Barclays. And, well, just in case you also want to join the APSA family, you're well within your right to do so. But Joseph Frimpong Akable is joining me this morning. I told you early on about how we're going to look at the front pages of the newspapers together. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning, Ronald.
How was your weekend?
I was good.
Great. All right. Can you start for us?
Yes, so let's start first with the Ghanaian Times, the front page of the Ghanaian Times. It says, soldier jailed 20 years for incest, and President briefs AU summit on Ghana's preparation towards establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement Secretariat in Accra, and tread cautiously in implementation of UNIPASS is coming from the IEAG, and police grab man over gruesome murder allegedly involved in gang raping, killing nurse in Kumasi. At the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Okay, so that's the APSA you spoke about a short while ago.
Fully bringing the activations at a synchronized level today.
Okay.
Well within the right to advertise.
Some more stories. We can do the Finder newspaper, the front page. Don't spare troublemakers. Deal ruthlessly with them. It's coming from Dr. Baumia to the police service. And 92.97 million compensation clause in 40 million UNIPASS contract. Dr. Baumia to provide empirical data of government's achievements tomorrow, and 25% of Talo Ghana workforce to lose jobs. We can look at the Today newspaper now. It says, Kufuor slams Nana boys for hijacking nomination forms. An enemy within, excavator brouhaha plotted by Central Region big wigs. It has a photograph of Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Let me quickly do that of the Daily Statesman and the Daily Dispatch. The Statesman reports that Asenso has filed nomination to contest incumbent Bantama MP. Mahama finally caught. April 2012 letter confirms JDM personally negotiated Embraer deal. That's a photograph of the former president. And Baumia to address 7th Town Hall meeting in Kumasi tomorrow. The last one for me will be that of the Daily Dispatch that reports that 4% of Ghanaians vote on ethnic basis. It gives a breakdown of all the major ethnic groups from the PNDC era to the Fourth Republic. And British judgment on Airbus bribery scandal. Internet shutdown not an option for Ghana. That's according to George Anda. So that is it by way of the front pages. There's this advertisement from the Economic and Organized Crime Office also asking for those who want to report crimes to contact them. Crimes such as money laundering, human trafficking, and others. Contacts are provided here that you can get in touch with them to report such crimes. So that is it by way of the front pages, Roland.
Okay, so let's quickly give you what is on the front page of the Daily Guide, and it's simply just one story. And the APSA activation is taking all over. So that we have the front page of the Daily Guide, and it has the Mahama Embraer letters pop up in $55 million deal. Okay. On the back page, it's full of spores. No back page. So let's go to the publisher. The Ghanaian publisher has on the front page, Akufo-Addo assures the African Union after Secretariat will be operating next month. That's the Ghanaian publisher. Also on the front page of the Ghanaian publisher, $3 billion Eurobond will reflect in people's pockets, according to the finance minister. And of course, this has been dominating since the last week after we had a good road show, and there was a return of the whole team led by the finance minister. Kojo Nkrumah was already in the studio, and then that was culminated and by the Minister for Finance, Ken Oforiatta, appearing on Newsfile over the weekend. And this story is called from a number of stories and inserts from Newsfile per his appearance. And we'll talk about all those related matters as well. And this one seems to be dominating. It says, Minister refutes internet shutdown claim. It has an attached picture of Ursula Owusu-Ekufo. She is the Minister for Communications. Main story on the front page of the Ghanaian publisher. The Ghana Revenue Authority is set to pilot Unipass at the Takoradi Port, and usually the Takoradi Port doesn't see a lot of traffic, so it'll be a good place to pilot this. But up there we also have Asenso filing to contest the Bantama MPP primary. It was all over the internet or main portals, including myjoyonline.com over the weekend about his filing. The Independent newspaper has on the front page, MPP primaries. Napo makes fourth term bid for the Menchia South seat. That's the Independent newspaper. And then we also do have deal ruthlessly with troublemakers in December polls. That's the vice president charging the police, and he was at the Wasa over the weekend. He gave all those assurances to the police that they will be provided with the requisite equipment to be able to fight crime, some related offenses, including actions of terrorism. And we also do know that we're told they are preparing some personnel to look at how they can set up an air patrol unit of the Ghana Police Service with acquisition or likely coming into the country of some helicopters. That'll be a good one. It'll be a semblance of how the police in Los Angeles, New York, etc. in the United States tend to operate. All right. Down there we have Kaneshi Stretch converted into loading point. Drivers admit wrongdoing but point fingers. Hashtag arrive alive. The New Publisher has on the front page, Asante Mampong MPP angry over coup plot. Meanwhile, Airbus scandal. We have LPG founder Kofi Akpalu being quoted in the story there. Says, unmask government official one. It continues. The conversation is there. We already do know that the special prosecutor is the one the president has said should look at the subject. There's a formal letter to that effect. Ejusu Mine Senior High School sacks 7 students from boarding house over video. You know, this has been a trending video of students in senior high school, and the latest is Ejusu Mine, and apparently saying things that the school authorities considered to be unworthy of students or the senior high school, especially in their school. So they got them taken out of the boarding house. It's also raised related issues about how the actions of the school authorities and subsequently the way we've reported it as the media is concerned on the rights of the children and ultimately how it can affect their lives as adults. Messing up Nanado's government, handing over the port to an untested Korean company. I'm sure this, if you have been following the related issues, is about the Unipass deal. We're told that it's already being piloted the Takoradi ports, even though it sees small traffic or throughput of vessels in and out. The Economy Times has on the front page, city reserves to improve, and we're talking related issues about Bank of Ghana, management of the economy as BOG awaits $3 billion Eurobond money. Banks give more credit to private sector, latest report, and from the Bank of Ghana has been indicating, saying growth in business activity meanwhile drops, but on the back page, betrayal of the poor citizen under disguise of illegal mining fight is part 1 of an article being published by the Economy Times. Is on the back page of the paper. The Economy Times has published that. Down there, we do have Ghana warned over excessive borrowing, even though the finance minister, if we have to quote him in his appearance on Newsfile over the weekend, said, look, once you get your macros right, you manage the fiscals, you have some space to add more debt. And that it depends on how much you get what you use it for, and ultimately how you can keep managing the macroeconomic or the fundamentals of the economy. Meanwhile, government loses some 42% in corporate taxes to low oil production. It has an attached picture of the GRA boss, Emmanuel Kofi there. The last paper we're looking at is the Informer. It has on the front page, stolen excavators, brouhaha. The Informer says, Akufo-Addo sacks Frimpong Boateng. We do know the Minister of Environment has been at the center of this drama, issuing letters for various individuals to be investigated, especially by the police or the police CID, for soiling image of government. The story said, meanwhile, Operation Vanguard Gallam Stop stole seized gold. President reveals. Let me see which president they're talking about. I'm sure the president of the president of the Small Scale Mining Association. Yes, and it's the president of Small Scale Miners Association. It's the president of the Concerned Small Scale Miners, Michael Kwejo Pepra, has alleged that the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, comprising of Operation Vanguard, the Defense Minister's team, and Gallam Stop soldiers, Professor Frimpong Boateng's team, are responsible for the thievery of several ounces of gold seized between 2018 and 2019. Other stories there. Vicious lies against free zones boss uncovered. It has an attached picture of Michael Berfi, CEO of Ghana Free Zones Authority, who it looks like is going for or to contest, I have to say, the seat, New Drabbing, New Drabbing constituency, yeah. Seems to have a lot of support of individual members of the top hierarchy of the MPP. When he organizes events, people they go wah. Anyway, government comments police service pledges its support, and there's an event where the vice president was there. They're supposed to have an air wing, so to speak, a department where, you know, like CSR, Las Vegas, and the rest will be going on that. Well, Joseph, any pick of stories you want us to take a look at?
Yes, there's this story generated a lot of waves on social media over the weekend about the alleged murder of a nurse. We are told that a police grab man over gruesome murder. It's in the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. A 30-year-old nurse at Sewa Health Center and mother of 3 children has been allegedly raped and murdered by unknown assailants at Ayom in the Bosomtwe district of the Ashanti region. She's been identified as Ruth Amaishon. She was said to have been spotted leaving a health center where she worked. A police source indicated to the Ghanaian Times that one person has been arrested in connection with the murder. Police would not name the suspect as investigations is underway. According to the assemblyman of the area, she was last seen by her colleagues leaving the health center for her home at about 3 p.m. last Monday. He claimed the deceased family became alarmed after she failed to return home later that day and was reported missing by her husband. It goes on to say the lifeless body of the deceased was discovered the following morning about 100 meters away from her home. And though the police did not give the full details, many residents believe that the young nurse might have been gang raped and murdered by her assailants. And so, very disturbing story that generated the hashtag Justice for Ruth Eshon on social media on Saturday evening and Sunday morning. And I mean, I think as it stands now, we just can't hope that the police immediately get to the bottom of the matter and establish the facts relating to the case as to what exactly must have happened on that day. But the story as it stands, as has been put out and published, is really disturbing and not the very best at all.
Yes, and we do know that the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, they have issued a formal statement indicating that they condemn this act, and especially for somebody who had decided to sacrifice her life to the nursing profession. But in the meantime, they would also confer with the Ashanti regional chapter of the association to get to the bottom of this, to get the facts right, and ultimately that would also unravel what the facts are. The latest we do have is that the scene where the incident is suspected to have taken place seemed to have been set on fire. It speaks volumes about what sort of evidence could be picked. if the police were supposed to undertake any form of quasi-forensic audits. And
but it also actually does indicate that, I mean, clearly that area was not designated as a crime scene as it ought to have been properly done.
Right. So that then it will be cordoned off.
Yes, you cordon it off, and no one gets access to it until you are done with what you are doing over there, picked all what you ought to pick. And so it's a bit strange that, I mean, because I've seen a video of her lifeless body. It's somewhere in the forest. Then all of a sudden, that place just gets, I mean, raised by fire by unknown person, just setting the place ablaze. I mean, it just affects the work of the police, obviously. And I think, I mean, going forward, what they ought to have done, if they did it, then indeed they must by now be pursuing whoever set the place ablaze. If they didn't, then that should be what they ought to be doing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, there's this story also that caught my mind, and I'm sure also you have a lot to say about it. It's about the Jusumain Senior High School sacking 7 students from the boarding school. The story, of course, we have also comprehensively covered this. And it says they have been expelled from the boarding house after they were deemed to have engaged in activities that tarnish the school's image. And there was a viral video of these young girls of Jusumain. But before then, we'd had another one from another school. And we also do know that the Ghana Education Service, they have a regulation about banning phones from schools, second cycle, both basic and second cycle. Now, it speaks to a certain discretion or decisions that are taken, and also the authority of discretion that is given to those who have been put in public positions as to how they protect the rights of young people when they commit wrong. Because I am thinking the internet and the content that it tends to publish tend to stay with us a long time. Indeed, there's always a cliche that the internet,
the names of the individuals that were put
yes,
out.
yes, the internet never forgets. So there have been a number of actions. The individuals or these young girls had their names in there, and the year they were in, and then also now we can put or try to put or link the names to the faces, and I think that it may affect them in adulthood, but even psychologically, how they feel. And
I wouldn't want to directly blame the GES because at least we know that this was an internal document. It just was information the school was communicating to them about what had been done.
Okay, so it was an internal document that leaked. Okay,
exactly.
On social media.
I mean, obviously, if you are communicating with your higher authorities, you would name the individuals who are involved. Maybe with what has happened now, knowing very well that there's the possibility of this being leaked. But then again, the publishers should also have tried to withhold that information. But there's another aspect of the story that is also worrying, is the decision from the school to remove them from the boarding house. It's something that during high school days, I personally never understood. You know, the students have been entrusted in the care of school authorities. They commit a crime and the decision is that, okay, so go home to your parents or you move in from the boarding house. And the situation here is if it's a case where the students actually, in terms of their parents, don't live in the same community where they are schooling, what it will mean is that they will now have to either live on their own or their parents have to find someone else for them to live with. And so I don't think for the purpose of reformation that they may be seeking to achieve, changing them from doing the things that you thought they did that were bad, I don't think we actually serve that purpose much by simply saying that we are moving them from the boarding house.
But it also speaks to a broader conversation about, in this day and age, banning phones from school, knowing that we have a curricula now, the new curricula indeed, and my children have been practicing that. They come for my tablet, my phones, my laptop to do research for school. It exposes them to the internet, and definitely children would want to experiment. What do you make of, you know, having the internet or the phones banned, knowing that they can access the internet and use all the content that it provides?
I think it should, the efforts to be made to make internet accessible to the student in whatever form it should take. I'm not too sure about whether we've gotten to the age where the phone should be made available in the schools, because if we need the phones, the reason why we needed the phones, which we've advanced the arguments to support, is that you need access to the internet. And so the point I'm making is that if the internet can be made in a way that is readily accessible to the students, and so can we allow the use of laptops, perhaps, where is regulated such that they have access to the internet like we have at the universities.
Okay.
Because the phone,
but the laptops,
because the phone currently more or less serves as a communication gadget more than something, unless people who are on the move who tend to use it for their research and other things. But these are students who are studying in schools. They are not moving around a lot. They are actually in schools, and so if it's such that it's available to them, they can access the internet and do their research. I think that should work.
But the laptops have webcams.
Yes, they have webcams.
So you can still,
you see, in this particular
position
instance,
it somewhere. Yeah.
that we need to understand the content of the audio too, the video. It's not the case that they were captured on tape committing a certain crime or something. So I can see a number of offenses that in terms of the school regulations. So one is the fact that it confirms that they actually have phones in the dormitories. The other part has to do with the fact that they've conducted themselves in a way that has brought the image of the screen to disrepute. Because, I mean, she's talking about sex and people who lead morally chaste lives and don't want to engage in sex, saying that, I mean, it's nothing, you can go ahead and have sex. And that is what the school has problem with. And so we need to look at it that way and not the case that some form of crime. So I think that the focus of allowing the use of phones is more of research purposes. And I think we can achieve that with internet use via laptops.
Well, we have to go through to our main portal, myjoyonline.com, is where you can get an aggregation of every content that is generated not only on Joy News, but Joy FM and the various multimedia platforms. You know, 25 years of media excellence is what you get, and that all is reflected on the platform, myjoyonline.com. And straight away, Joseph, we have to take a look summary of some of the stories published there.
One story, senior high school expels 7 students from boarding house of a viral video, is the first story there. They saw a story about the coronavirus killing 97 in deadliest days so far. Very worrying. Frequent road accidents make me reluctant to buy motorcycles for constituents. That's according to Second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Alban Gbabin. And scoreboard results and match day starts of the Ghana Premier League Week 9. Kotoko win against Dreams FC. Eduana shares sports with Hearts in Doma. And Ghana's debt situation at moderate to high risk, World Bank country director. And justice for Ruth Eshon, social media users demand arrest, prosecution of murderers. Banking sector crisis, Finance Minister hints depositors will be paid in full by end of 2020. And the final one, Airbus missing excavator scandals represent heightened abuse of office. That's according to Professor Kweku Asari. He is a professor and a lawyer based in the US. And they wrote a short story again on myjoyonline. So you can find details of all those stories on myjoyonline.com.
Well, definitely. And we all do know that the African leaders, they are meeting once again in Addis Ababa. The AU summit is there. And one of the key related issues they are discussing is the spread of the coronavirus. And we have to update our viewers on the latest we can get. And we'll straight away hit the screens with you, the BBC, and it says coronavirus claims at least 97 lives in one day. But the numbers have now risen to the latest I was getting about an hour or two ago. 990 keeps increasing from country to country, human contact to human contact, and the mutation is just frightening most of the time. And you're not only going to get this on the BBC, but even here, we're very much wary of the havoc that it can cause. And that's what we're speaking to the head of Noguchi this morning, just getting the latest update, because we've been having a lot of interactions with officials of Noguchi on what to do. And Joseph, the World Health Organization has now upped what the regimes are for testing and looking at some of the suspicious cases. But it speaks volumes about how we seem to have a certain readiness for it and very much aware of how
the rate at which it spreads and how it kills people and it's killing people is such that we all need to take the caution. And so it's not surprising that the World Health Organization will want to be more direct about it. So, I mean, following our Kolebo experience, I understand that things are changing a bit in terms of how we intend to respond and handle such matters. And in terms of the testing bits, we will bring us the latest from Noguchi as well.
Thank you very much, Joseph. But I know one thing you've loved over the last couple of weeks. I think that all your life, I didn't know you love football. You've been at the stadium having a little of selfies, and Benedict also is here.
Tell us about my team winning Kotoko.
Yeah, definitely. My team too.
We beat
and you have a jersey?
Yes, I have the
Okay,
jersey.
I'm getting a jersey from Gerald Motri. A week now, he hasn't come, but I'm collecting it this week. So, Benedict.
Yes, Roland?
Yeah, what's occupying your mind? I know Real Madrid, they are, again, 3 points in La Liga. They all won their respective matches alongside their rivals, Barcelona. But it also speaks to the related issues about how hot that league is this season.
Yes,
is that
of
not
course.
it?
Yeah, that's exactly so. But in terms of leagues being hot, the other league that we normally do not talk about a lot is the Serie A.
Yeah.
The Derby della Madonnina.
It took place? Who won?
Well, it was Inter Milan. They won
Wow.
4-2. And
Wow.
you know how it happened? They had to come from two goals down to win the game 4-2.
Did Lukaku score?
Of course, he did. That was where I was going to. Lukaku, the man who was rejected by Manchester United, now has become what? They say it in the Bible.
The cornerstone now.
Yes. The stone that the builders rejected became the cornerstone.
So
Charlie.
cornerstone. And most United fans always watch Lukaku week in, week out and bleed. Because, Charlie, you know, the guy is doing very well, scoring week in, week out. And yesterday, someone referred to me the fact that, you know, when Lukaku was leaving Everton, he didn't even want to go United. He wanted to go to Chelsea because Antonio Conte was there now. So now he's playing under the coach that initially wanted to play under. You remember?
Yeah, you are connecting the dots.
Exactly. So
no wonder you are a Liverpool fan.
And you know that he's formed a fantastic partnership with Martinez.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we also will talk about the Ghana Premier League. Plus, Patrick Alote has once again apologized. All this are more.
You have too many stuff this morning.
Exactly.
Well loaded.
It's a Monday, so don't go away. We are back with details of our stories.